Welcome to the first vlog of the Ffarquhar Replica Layout. Okay, we've already built the baseboard, and already we're just starting to lay the track plan. The track plan here is just to give us an idea as to where everything has to go, regarding track, scenery, and buildings. Now, for the eagle eyes amongst you, you will actually know that this track plan is actually a 1:1 scale version of the one shown in the Railway Modeler article. As I'm removing the track plan, you will note some markings on top of the baseboard. This was achieved by going over the track plan with a felt tip pen. The ink will then transfer through the paper on top of the baseboard. Note I've only done a small part of one half of the layout. After this was recorded, I went over the layout again. On the right, I have already cut out the river. A piece of fiberboard will be glued underneath to create the riverbed. The next stage comes track laying. For my ballast, I'm using Pico foam underlay. I find this stuff very useful because it's easy to use and reduces sound from the locos when they're running. The track just slots into the underlay as shown. GaugeMaster also sells a type of underlay with sprayed ballast on it to create a good realistic effect. Pico also has some underlays for points. Note I had to cut a small bit away for when the points have to cross over each other. Again, the points slot easily into place. Unlike my previous layouts, I'm using Pico's streamlined flexible track for my main track areas. To install rail joiners, I have to cut away the chairs from the sleepers. The next stage comes the point motors. Here I'm cutting out a hole for the point motor to slot into. Now because this layout is designed to be folded up into a box, I have to solder the track to some brass screws so it can be aligned when the layout is being assembled. You will also note that I've soldered on some power wires to transfer the power from one side of the layout to the other. When soldering the track to the brass screws, I'm using this 18-inch Tracksetta radius template to help me out. Once the track is laid, a test run is carried out. The next stage comes the backgrounds. 3mm sheets of MDF are glued and screwed to the battens. A coat of emulsion paint is then applied to give the base coat. Then I paint the sky using a duck egg blue. The next stage I glued on some newspaper onto the riverbed. This is to make a nice little embankment. Once the paint was dried, I glued on some Pico backgrounds. Coming up on the right, you'll be able to see the background for the stations. A small part of it here will have to be modified later on. And here we see the behind the scenes of the fill yard. There's still a lot more work to do, so look out for any more further updates on the Ffarquhar Replica Layout.